Swift and begin again because I've already filmed this video 3 times. Greetings internet, it's Katie and I'm here on my bed sitting cross-legged for y'all to film. Did I just say y'all? I said y'all. The South is rubbing off on me. So I'm here to film a video all about boys, the opposite sex. My heart is on my sleeve. Yeah, I'm actually wearing sleeves because it's like 30 degrees and I'm ready to film. So I hope you guys are ready. I guess you don't really have a choice because we're just gonna go full force ahead, full speed ahead. I've had 3 cups of coffee. I need to slow down. Okay. So today's video is all about the opposite sex, boys, because, you know, they're just interesting creatures and they deserve to be studied. I'm not even going to pretend to say that half my videos aren't about boys because they are, probably more than half. Probably 75% of the videos I make on my channel have something to do with the opposite sex. It's really common to have feelings where you kind of are just like, wait a second, I want to be hard to leave. I want someone, you know, staying up all night thinking about me. I want someone throwing rocks at my window at 3 in the morning. You know, especially if you read romance novels like I do. These thoughts are so common. So in the past couple months, I feel like I've had a lot of conversations with my friends about boys because I'm getting to that point in my life, college, where, you know, I could totally meet a guy in class and marry this guy. The scary part about life right now for me, you know, between the ages of 18 to 22, you meet a lot of temporary people, and the guy you're talking to, you know, could just be another somebody, or he could be your freaking husband in a couple of years. Maybe not a couple, maybe more than a couple of years, hopefully. But, you know, it's just kind of a scary, weird time in my life where, you know, I could be rubbing elbows with my future husband. So some things that I've learned lately, you know, from past experiences and from experiences my friends have experienced, if that makes sense. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. This has taken me a long time to grasp. Sometimes, you know, guys will give you attention one day, but then they'll get tired of you and maybe they'll come back a couple months later and give you more attention, but then they'll leave again. But here's the thing, guys. The person that you are meant to be with will never have to be begged, will never have to be chased, and will never have to be given an ultimatum. In my history of chasing guys, I have made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes that I'm gonna have to live with for a very long time. For the rest of my life, probably. Sometimes I need to step back and remind myself that I don't have to be doing what everyone else is doing. And I feel like a lot of times, especially at college, you know, all this racy, crazy stuff is happening, and I think, oh, you know, my friends are doing this, or these people that I seem to identify with are doing this, so why shouldn't I be able to do it? But I keep having to remind myself that when I meet that person that I'm supposed to be with, I don't want to feel like a used napkin, okay? I want to feel like I have saved enough of myself for him that it's special. Especially, you know, on Friday nights and Saturday nights and Thursday nights when I'm going out and having fun with my friends, you know, it's hard to remember that, like, wait a second, I don't have to be doing what they're doing. You know, I don't have to go out every night, and I can totally stay in and eat pizza and Ben & Jerry's and watch Netflix, and that's totally, totally fine. Totally more than fine. That's probably better than going out. I feel like I've kind of lost sight of what's important sometimes in regards to guys. You know, I do all these things to impress them, and I wear the certain clothes, and I wonder why I'm, you know, not good enough for them sometimes, you know, and I feel like I'm never good enough. I mean, why does it matter what these guys think of me? At the end of the day, you are the only person that's in charge of how you think about yourself. Nobody else has the right to tell you how you should live your life, or to tell you whether you're beautiful or not, or you're hot, or you're sexy, or whatever the frick people are saying these days. You get to decide how you think of yourself, and no one can take that right away from you. I think it's really important to invest in the people that invest in you. So, you know, if a guy isn't really giving you the time of day, if he like maybe texts you every so often just to hook up, or, you know, something like that, then I think he's completely, totally not even worth it. If he's not taking the time to invest in you, then why would you invest time in him? I don't know what it is about me, but I'm very trusting in people, and I think a little too trusting sometimes. I am very truthful and very honest, and sometimes those things really bite me in the butt. Sometimes if a guy knows how you feel about him, or thinks that he knows how you feel about him, he'll use you, and he'll, you know, use that knowledge to his advantage, and he'll make you do dumb things and make you, you know, just look dumb. Guys will do all these things, and yeah, you could totally flip it around and say girls do these things also, but guys will say all these things. You know, they'll say all these things. They'll say, oh, you're the most beautiful girl, like, I only want to be here with you, I'm so glad I'm here with you, and then they'll be texting another girl 10 minutes later. You have no idea. The important thing is to know that this is going to happen to you. You know, you're going to be involved with a guy who, you know, has a massive ego. Probably someday you will be. If you aren't, then gosh, girl, you're lucky. But most of us are going to be, you know, in the presence of someone who has a massive ego, or just someone who's just caught up in the wrong things. And to be honest, guys, I feel like a lot of the boys that I've encountered that are like this, it's honestly just a phase, and I know in my heart that they are good people and they will be good people eventually once they kind of grow out of this. But a lot of guys will say things just because they know it's what you want to hear. I don't know, I live my life thinking that it just makes sense for everyone to be honest and for everyone to be kind and compassionate, but especially at college, I've found that, you know, I'm kind of giving people the benefit of the doubt when they don't deserve it. People will say all these things, people will use you, people will leave you in the dirt, face down in the dirt. You know, because you can't really choose who you have feelings for, or who makes your stomach just squirm with delight, whatever you— why did I word it like that? You can't control who gives you butterflies and who makes you want to slap them in the face. Like, it really is just so weird how life works, you know? Like, I found myself, you know, going into it with a guy thinking, maybe this will work this time. Maybe he'll be the one this time. Feelings never make sense. You know, you think for a minute, oh, you know, I like this guy, but then he doesn't like you back, or vice versa. And I'll say it again, feelings, they just don't make sense. They'll drive you around for hours and then drop you off at the same point you were at before. Rule number one of boys, of relationships, of everything related to the opposite sex: do not chase people, because if they want to be in your life, they will not have to be chased. The chase is kind of the worst and the best part of, you know, being with a guy, because, you know, yeah, it's kind of cool to like act like you have the upper hand, but it also drains you. You know, not knowing who likes you for you and who likes you for your body. It's kind of messed up, and it kind of really sucks, and it gets really old really fast. And that's something I've learned from college. You know, I'm kind of tired of worrying about if I'm pretty enough for these guys, or if I'm, you know, sexy enough, or if I have the right clothes. You know, I'm really interested in seeing who cares about what I have to say and what I think about the world. And I'm really looking forward to the day when I can say someone has fallen in love with my emotions and not my face or my ass or something like that. I don't know. I like to think that every single girl in the entire universe, you know, even the ones that are, you know, suicidal and depressed and just sad and, you know, feel like they're too broken to be loved, I know for a fact that every single person out there has their perfect match and has the person that's going to know them more than anyone else in the world and is going to love them. You are no exception to that. You know, just think about it. I always like to think, this is kind of dumb of me to say, maybe it's not dumb, maybe I'm just saying it's dumb, but it's probably pretty dumb, but I have these feelings where I'm like sitting in class, or like, I don't know, I'm just doing random things, and I'm like, I wonder what my husband is doing right now. You know, and it's kind of dumb, but it's also kind of fun to think about. You know, your perfect match, the person that, you know, is going to just light up your life, is probably eating a sandwich right now. But it's just kind of cool, the beauty of not knowing. As much as I think sometimes, damn, I wish I knew who my husband was, or like, I wish I knew like what I should be doing with my life, or I wish I knew what the future holds, it's actually kind of beautiful to not know. You know, the beauty of not knowing what's going on, or like what, you know, is brewing in your future. I think it's just kind of cool. A lot of life is wasted by trying to get a guy to like you, and like, what can I do to get this guy to like me? How can I make a guy like me? And I think it's kind of dumb, and it's kind of a wasted batch of thoughts and actions, because at the end of the day, you know, the guy you're supposed to be with isn't going to have to be charmed like that. You know, you're not going to have to, you know, go out of your way to be someone you're not to impress him, because, you know, if you're being someone you're not, you know, that's just a waste of time. You know, eventually the guy's gonna see like, wait, this isn't who you are, you know? And I want someone to fall in love with me for who I am. I feel like lately I've been, you know, consumed by the thoughts of like, how can I be cool and how can I be well liked? Just more fun to be around, and like, what can I do to be better? And at the end of the day, you're the person who has to live with yourself. You know, you're gonna die alone. It's just gonna be you, yourself, and you. That doesn't make sense. I thought me, myself, and I, but okay. In the end, it's just gonna be you. You know, you have to live with who you are and what you've done. I like to think that I'm gonna look back when I'm in my deathbed and think, you know, I've lived my life for me. It's been me the whole time, and it hasn't been some phony version of myself. You know, I've done all these things and made all these mistakes, but, you know, I can totally turn a new leaf tomorrow, today, right now. You know, in the next millisecond, I can completely do a 180 and change. And I've discussed this so many times in my videos that, like, you don't have to wait for someone or something to happen to change. Like, you can do whatever you want, and, like, that's the beauty of life. Because at the end of the day, you can't force people to want to be with you. You know, you can't force people to love you, and yeah, you might be able to do things to make people love you, but I promise you, the things you'll be doing, the toxic behavior and the bad decisions and things like that, it'll come back to bite you and you will not be proud of that. You need to start cutting people out of your life who are threatening your joy. Even if you desperately hope and desire for these guys to give you the time of day and you think, oh, maybe if I was just this, or if I did this, then I would get this guy. You need to stop those toxic thoughts and you need to cut those people out of your life. Yeah, you can be civil with them. If you see them on the street, you can, you know, maybe smile in their direction or something, but you need to stop being consumed by these people because it will only bring you down. You need to do things that you honestly feel proud of and you're happy doing, and I promise you the right guy will find you, or you'll come across him sometime in a coffee shop, somewhere random. When you're, you know, doing your dream job, you'll find this guy, but I promise you that you don't need to stop your life to find a guy. Like, you know, there's no pressure. I honestly believe that, you know, love has no age. You don't need to be, you know, 28 and then that's when you're going to find your dream man. Like, you never know when it's going to happen, and when it does, it's going to be beautiful, and I promise you it will be. Life is selfish. Life, the aspect of life, you know, sometimes it's going to be good to you and sometimes it's going to pull the rug out from under you, and you never know when these things are going to happen, and a lot of times a lot of awesome things happen before the bad things do, and a lot of bad things happen before the awesome things happen. It's always darkest before the dawn, as Florence and the Machine taught me. But just know, guys, that your Prince Charming is out there. Remember, Cinderella never asked for a prince, guys. If you think about it, think back to the fairy tale stories. Cinderella never asked for a prince. She simply asked for a dress and a night off from work. So honestly, you will come across your Prince Charming when you least expect it. You know, if we're thinking about that. Cinderella did not go to the ball to find her prince necessarily. Yeah, like she sang about her prince and she thought about her prince, but so do we. You know, there's not a day that doesn't go by when I think about, oh, I can't wait to do this with my boyfriend when I eventually get one. Maybe, maybe never, maybe someday. Cinderella did not go to this ball thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna meet this guy at approximately 11:59 and lose my shoe. She did not think about any of these things, you know? It's all just happened, and that's why it's so beautiful, and that's why fairy tales are so awesome, and I freaking love fairy tales, and I will continue to, you know, make Cinderella references when I'm like, you know, in a real person job when I'm like 40. If you feel like you are so guilty of, you know, wondering what things you can do to get boys to like you, let me just tell you this one more time. The person that you are meant to be with will not have to be chased. Honestly, guys, stop giving boys this power over you. You are such an independent and amazing person, and, you know, the right guy will come eventually. Don't sit back and put your life on hold because you're so busy wondering about what you can do to impress these guys and to get these guys in your life. The great part about life is you don't know what tomorrow holds, and I think that as humans we should take advantage of that, and that is my spiel. So, wow. I have no idea if this was even a relevant video at all, but that's the beauty of making videos. Am I right, fellow YouTubers? So anywho, that is my video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!